How you doing?
Welcome to Love and Relo. I'm doing really well. Where are you these days?
I am in Houston, Texas.
How's the weather down there in Houston right now? It's 17 degrees here in Detroit.
And we got a cold front coming, Ben. It's going to be 52 today.
52. What are you gonna do with yourself?
I will still be able to play golf.
Got your little windbreaker on there, ready for the 52.
That's right, I am. You got it.
Dude, I go home, I got a hat with fur and earmuffs and everything on it. It's like insane, dude. It's insane.
Come to Houston, man. Come move to Houston.
Yeah, I do. I need to go down. Hopefully I'll be down there for ERC in May, the spring conference. We'll see how that shakes out.
Okay, good.
We'll see what's up. Let's see here. We got some people joining in here. Hey, everybody, if you're joining, you know the deal. Leave your location, leave your company. I'll give you a quick shout out, free press, right? Appreciate you guys so much. Also, if you're on right now, I want you to just leave a like, the little applause thing, maybe the insight or the light bulb. Maybe it's too early for the insights. I don't know. We haven't really been insightful yet. It's cold in Detroit. It's warm in Houston. But go ahead and leave a comment, leave the likes, hit that button for me, okay? I got 15 people coming on, 16 now on LinkedIn. Let's see here. We got some people on Facebook here. All right. Awesome. There we go. Georgia. Hi from sunny Florida. 77 degrees. Look at that. Awesome. All right. Cool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just hop right into it, Rob.
Hey, Ben, before we get
For those of you who don't know, Rob Vespa, president of Walkboard Move Management. Rob, what's Walkboard, man?
Walkboard is an exciting technology platform, Ben. Walkboard was started in 2015 by a group of moving veterans with over 100 years of industry experience. So what they wanted to do was create a efficient technology platform. That's what started them. The first product they built was a connect to long distance movers with labor. So it was a labor platform for the van lines.
Yeah.
A lot of the major van lines are using the platform today. And then, of course, as you know, that turns into consumer moves. So a lot of the DIY customers started reaching out to Walkboard as well, looking for labor for like their rental trucks and their own DIY moves.
Sure.
And today, part 3 of our plan for Walkboard now is the full service piece. So now we're able to connect the labor, the technology, and the full service together.
Wow. And so for those of you out there who don't know, the show is Love and Relo. The reason I call it that is because I like to have, my friends on, people I know, people that I care about, people that I find interesting. Rob, I've known you, take a quick little personal aside because I like to do that. I've known you for a long time. Do you remember kind of how we met or, when that was?
I think we crossed at Pod, I think.
Yeah.
I think you were about 19 years old. I think you were holding my water bottle at the conference.
They didn't even let me go to the conferences back then. I think I was in the call center or something like that. But yeah, you were out. You were with the Storage Mobility Franchise Group out of Pods on the West Coast, right?
Actually, all of them. We had East Coast, West Coast, and we had 88 locations.
Wow. So I met Rob then. I was probably a call center supervisor or something like that at Pods Corporate in Clearwater, and you were running all the ops for that. And then so we kind of came up through this whole container thing and all that. And then like what happened? What'd you do after that? Kind of give people just a background on kind of your story before we really get into the nuts and bolts.
So before we get into it, Ben, can I kind of flip the switch on you for a minute? I'm good at that.
Flip switches, man.
So I love your show. I'm proud of you, Ben. You've done a great job. But I think you're missing one thing.
Uh-oh.
I think you're missing an entry song for every one of you guys. So what I'm going to do for you, Ben, I'm going to play mine for you to start it. But think about it. Maybe your viewers can give you an opinion on it, but you should have some type of entry song.
I want you guys to leave a comment. No matter what you hear right now and how it goes, I want you to leave a comment. Go for it. What do you got for me? All right, Benny. We got a boomer over here trying to play a technology-based practical joke on me. Hold on, please bear with us.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Got to have it.
See, Ben, that'll get your show going right from the start.
Okay, I dig it. Let me know what you guys think of the dancing, of the song choice. I do need some intro music. I don't know if that's it or not, but
No, that's my song. So maybe everybody has their different song, but going back to my background, how many times have I called you over the last 15 years? And when you don't answer, I say, Ben, I'm trying to make it rain, and you missed another move. How many times does that happen?
A lot. And when I do answer, it's Benny.
That's right.
And that's what I thought you were going to play, some Benny and the Jets.
No, that'd be your song. But anyway, just think about that as an entry song for your guests coming through.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So going back to the beginning, you and I were at Pods, and we got into, actually, when I got out of the military, Ben, I started with U-Haul. And I kind of learned the DIY side of the business. The EVP of U-Haul went to Pods, and he was one of the 5 founding owners and brought me over to Pods. That's how I got to Pods. And if you remember Pods back in 1998, 99, we did over 50,000 interstate moves like the second year. I mean, it just kind of blew up. And then from there, we were doing kind of a labor, kind of a DIY to full service with the Pods. So it really took off. And everybody talks about containerization today, but this was 20 years ago, right? We were there at Pods.
Right.
So from there, I went to Unigroup. So I kind of got to learn the full service and the traditional van line model. I worked for one of the largest van line agents in the country for about 7 years. I worked for an international freight forwarder after that to kind of learn the international business. Now I'm at Walkboard. So between the Pods and U-Haul and the van line service, I needed that technology platform piece. And now I feel like we've got everything put together for what we started 20 years ago.
And so the idea is to kind of bring all those offerings under one umbrella. I mean, is that kind of the iteration that you guys are at now?
So Ben, I mean, you're a sales guy, and a lot of accounts, and I'm out on sales calls also. A lot of accounts are asking for a full a la carte menu, right? They're looking for that technology piece. They're looking for someone to take care of the lump sum cap moves, and they're looking to service the full service. And I think that us in the position we're in right now, we do have that opportunity to be able to serve that whole range of menu for the account.
Okay. And what's been the reception? So how long you been there at Walkboard now?
So I've been with Walkboard for about 2 months.
2 months. Okay.
We've had, I want to say, about 8 accounts sign up with us in the last 2 months.
Okay.
And I think and again, just for numbers, it's really busy right now in January, and we're probably done over 100 orders for the first month in business on the full service side.
What's interesting to me is this is an idea that I've been playing with for a long time, because in my previous employer, I started a company within the company that did what you're talking about now, where you offer the containers, you offer the pup trailers, you offer the a la carte labor. What we didn't have is we didn't have a quoting engine. We didn't have it seamless and all kind of integrated like what you're talking about. What I've seen is I kind of went on your site and played with it a little bit. What do you think what is that target customer for you?
Well, so again, going back to the platform, right? It's the efficiency. And the more orders we get, typically you would hire more and more people, right? So with the platform, making it as efficient as possible for both the move management side and the coordinator side, it's helped us grow a lot faster over the last month, which I would have had to hire 7 or 8 new coordinators to handle the volume of business coming in. I'm sorry, Ben, go back to your question. Sorry about that.
My question?
Yes.
Going back to my question was about, wait, what was my question? Now I forgot my question.
I'm sorry, Ben. But again, I knew what you did with the forward relocation, and it was kind of the same thing, but again, we're focused on the national account side of the business.
Oh, who is the customer? That's what I was asking. Who is the customer? Is it that lump sum? Is it that cap move? Do you think that there's an application for like traditional policies like full household goods? I mean, what do you think that sweet spot is?
You know, again, I think it's all of it, man. I think it's a third, a third, a third. I think there's companies that have a boatload of lump sum moves and cap moves. And I think once you get in and can handle that, you're going to get the international piece. You're going to get the full service piece. I just think you have to just get in and be able to offer those services.
Yeah, and execute on it, right? Because these companies, even when they're lump sum and cap, they still have a high expectation, right? And especially since they're paying the relocation benefits are appearing on their W-2, and so they feel like even if it's paid for by the company, they're still paying the taxes on it, if not the whole thing with a lump sum. And so we're seeing a lot more price sensitivity now than we've seen maybe 2 years ago. So they still have that same like, hey, what am I getting for my money? Is this better than the general marketplace? And I'll ask you, I mean, have you looked at and tested, what are some of these online moving brokers offering, and how does your pricing compare to the Google option?
Ben, again, I've seen it and I've seen the pricing come through, but we don't have any weight maximums or weight minimums. So if it's a 1,000-pound shipment, you're paying a 1,000-pound shipment. So as far as cost, I'm right there as far as fair and equal with good quality and service for the customer. Yeah. So when you ask what does the customer get, customer's getting peace of mind, quality service, an efficient technology platform, and they're getting their stuff when they want their stuff, not 20 days down the road or a month away. So again, you're right. Quality and service is important. We've got a network of 500 agents that work for us that are in our network that does a super job of quality service. Our claims rate was 4.8% last year out of 6,000 shipments, which is incredible.
Yeah, no, I mean, 12% is great. I mean, industry standard for those people that don't know is about 20% as published by the American Moving and Storage Association.
4.8.
12.8, yeah, I got it.
4.8.
4.8 was your claims ratio?
Now tell about the industry standard.
How much of but how much of that was on no-touch containers and things like that? I mean, because that's the other thing, because you don't take liability for that.
So again, Ben, we didn't do any DIY last year again because we couldn't, where I was previously. So this year we'll be doing a lot of the DIY type services as well. Yeah, they were all full service moves we did last year.
Okay. Let me do a couple quick shout outs real quick because we got a few people checking in here. Lynn Greenberg, New York City with the Pivot app. Kelly Gurin, hey Ben, Scottsdale, Arizona. Russ Lyon, Sotheby's. Lisa Baranich, Boulder, Colorado. What's up, Lisa? Tommy Baby, what up, though, Rob? Thomas Bailey. Dan Wood from Dial Move in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Look forward to seeing you at AMSA, buddy. Terry Head in Lorton, Virginia. Hey, Terry. Mark Oakshot. Hey, Ben and Rob. Oakshot reporting for duty. Paula Kupka, the suspense. Oh, the suspense of the song. She was excited about that. Terry Head, he's right. Got to have the playing song. Between you and Terry, I should be able to come up with a decent audio format, right?
We'll find you one, Ben.
Oh, my God. This is great. Tommy Canoli, hey, Ben and Rob. Greetings from snowy upstate New York. Realist Solutions Group. Paula Kupka likes the song. Dan Wood, thumbs up to the song. Gina Grammatis, love the song idea. So we got 3 love the songs. Oh, so it's more than I would have given you, but no, that's all right.
All right, buddy.
I like the idea of each guest getting their own like walk-in. It's like your own walk-in music, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you go to Mariano Rivera in the bullpen and he's playing, Enter the Sandman or something like that coming in. I love it.
I think I know your guest tomorrow. Maybe I'll help you get a song.
Yeah, help Jim Walsh out. Jim's our guest tomorrow. For those of you who are watching, I think Jimmy might have checked in here. So yeah, we need a walk-in song for Jim and a way to play it too. But anyway, but now let me ask you this: Are you still doing like the containerized moves like in lift fans and things like that too?
We are. We're still doing the small shipments, Ben. We're doing the 5,000. That's our niche, is the 5,000 pounds and under. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I like to stay, but we do shipments that are 15, 20, 25,000 pounds as well.
Yeah. So going back to like how Walkboard started, because I think this was interesting, right? So correct me if I'm wrong, but like Walkboard started back in the day, I say back in the day, you said 2015, 4 or 5 years ago,
Yep.
As a labor app for drivers, right?
Yes.
Like, so if I'm a driver and I'm going to pick up a 10,000 pounds in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I need 2-3 guys, whatever, with background checks, CID numbers, I go on the app, request them, they show up.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. And then, so at what point did they say, hey, that's cool, but there's a bigger opportunity? What was that evolution like?
Well, again, I think it goes back to the industry guys that created the platform was looking for something efficient, right? So it was really for the whole industry. And I think the labor piece came about because of all the capacity issues out there. So I think that's where that evolved from. And then it started evolving basically again from the DIY side. A lot of consumers were reaching out for the labor piece. And that created another opportunity for Walkboard. And now the third opportunity now is the full service piece that they were getting to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think every one of these steps that they've taken along the way, from the technology to the labor piece to the DIY, now has brought us to the full service.
So I think a tremendous opportunity out here, and I'm going to tell you my unsolicited strategic opinion here, because that's what I do, right? So you have all these drivers who have it, right? All these van line drivers. You still offer the labor to the drivers too, right?
We do.
Yeah, right. So that's still a portion, right? So you have all these drivers on it, and I don't know if you heard about this, but there's a driver shortage, right? And you've got all the labor as well to help the drivers. And now you're opening up to corporations, RMCs, presumably, possibly even consumers. What if they just book their move directly with a driver? Like a direct-to-driver model. I mean, like a traditional, like a real deal Uberization model.
Well, do you think that's going to help get more drivers into the system if they do that?
Well, I mean, if I'm a driver and I'm like, not only can I get labor in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I can also pick up $3,000 to fill out my trailer, fill out my wagon, as they say in the biz.
Yeah, no, I agree. So who would they? So again, it goes back. Who would they work for? Would they be independent contractor, their own? Absolutely.
Yeah, right. They're an independent contractor now, right? They're an owner operator. Now, are they truly independent because they haul a wagon that says XYZ van line on the back, right? But they're independent contractors.
Maybe it's a white truck.
Yeah.
Down the road. Maybe it's no flag.
Well, even if it is a flag, they're supposedly an independent contractor. They're supposedly not forced dispatch. They're supposedly able to take and turn down and whatever shipments all they want.
You know, I think that's interesting, Ben. I think that's that kind of virtual van line you're talking about down the road. And I think, could there be a play down the road for something like that with Walkboard? I totally agree with that. Could be. You know, one of the other benefits, right? So we have a lot of agents in our network that do work for us. So going back to the labor piece of it, so we do get a lot of requests for labor every single day as well. And that's helping us keep a lot of the agents busy year round. So we're also help giving business to the agents in our network and our partners. And also we're doing a lot of work for the national accounts. So it's a good mix.
I mean, yeah, I mean, this time of year, as we sit here on February 5th, you know, half my guys might be not working right now, you know. So if you got something for me, send it over, Rob. I'm answering the phone, buddy. I got it right here, man.
To the phone, dude. That's all there is to
it. You know, so we got 47 people logged in on LinkedIn watching us right here. We've got another bunch on Facebook right now. You know, I've even got some constructive comments right here from some people coming in here. Hi, fellas, looking good. All right. Rob's calling me on the other line, top secret bat phone. So Rob, you got all these people logged in. I mean, what do you think's important to know right now? I mean, what do you want to tell people right now about, you know, maybe the lump sum or the alternative space or whatever?
The only thing you think of, I was thinking of you in church on Sunday. Don't know why, but I was.
I need it. I
prayed for you. But, you know, it was when Moses was leading out the people out of Egypt, and they needed water, right? So God said, tap it with your rod, tap the rock with your rod. So he did, and water came out. Well, the next time people needed water, God told Moses, talk to the rock, and you'll get water. Well, Moses hit the rock with the rod, and nothing happened. And he said, so Moses said, well, I did it that way, and it worked the first time. I thought it was going to work the same way the second time. the only thing I can tell you about Walkboard is this, that just because something worked 10 years ago and 5 years ago doesn't mean it works today. And we're trying to revolutionize and change the way we do things, just like I've done with the small shipment program. And I think with all the pieces we have in place, we're trying to do things different than where the industry was a year ago or 6 months ago.
Where do you think the industry is missing the mark?
You know, again, Ben, I think that they're missing the mark. You know, again, we did such a bad job recruiting drivers over the years. I think we should have
Terrible.
You know, we should have reached out to the military more and got some of these kids coming out of the military after 4 years and maybe not put them as Class A drivers, put them in box trucks. And I think there should have been more of a regional model and not New York to California type model, and let these guys, you know, it's almost like, I don't know whose model, like the FedEx model going from hub to hub.
Yeah.
But, you know, get these guys home in a week and make it where they're not gone 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and not driving 800 miles. I think we just missed a boat on that. I think we missed a boat because everyone talks about containerization today. And containerization has been around 20 years. And it's been around longer than before pods.
Well, containerization, the military started containerizing household goods in 1948. And then think about how long it took for a company to come along and actually really start using it heavily on the consumer side, pods in 98. You could argue that maybe lift fans and things like that, but you know, before that. But I mean, widespread adoption took forever.
I think it's changed, man. I think that's what it is. The only person that likes change is my baby, right? Nobody just wants to change, and I think that's was the biggest problem. I mean, I tried to do containerization in the van line world 10 years ago, and nobody wanted to adapt to that. Nobody wanted to invest in the container program because they had assets, and that was a big thing against the containerization. Was we've got trucks, we've got rolling trucks.
Well, and in fairness, though, too, with that container model, whether it be the SAM model, the pods model, the Packard model, or whatever, you know, those containers were costing $3,500 a pop. The truck with the lift on it's costing 150 grand. You need a bigger forklift, which costs another 70 grand. I mean, it's a substantial capital investment for something that's, you know, 150 bucks to sit in your driveway every month. You know, it's like, I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's hard. But I think what you really did later, you know, which I mean is ubiquitous now, but is the lift fans, right? I mean, the universal container that everybody has that costs 200 bucks that nobody cares if they don't get it back, you know, and it does 10 turns and then you scrap it. You know, that's the model that's winning right now. You know, as I'm telling you, you're the godfather of small shipments. I mean, you know, right? According to your LinkedIn profile.
Sorry, that was the only thing I had to put. But, you know, again, we did come a long way on the small shipments. But, you know, and I think the industry created that, right, with the minimum weights. Mm-hmm. And how can an account or anybody or consumer pay a 3,500 pound minimum on a 1,000-pound shipment? And, you know, so there had to be something done or something different had to be done. And I think those things, again, caused a lot of what's happening today.
Well, and you're talking about the driver shortage and everything, and to me, I look at it and I say, you know, maybe not recruiting drivers, but building drivers. I mean, even just like taking guys and career pathing them and upskilling them, and to the point where you're not looking to take a owner operator that's hauling freight terminal to terminal and flip them into a household goods driver, which is incredibly more physical. And it requires a lot more outlay in capital, whether it's paying lumpers $200 a day or buying all the cardboard or fuel, whatever. But I mean, at least taking a person that has a work ethic and he's a lumper one day, and then maybe he's a terminal contractor the next day, and then maybe he's over the road company guy, and then he turns into an owner operator 5 years in, and he's grossing 300K. I mean, that's a career path. But what I see in a lot of companies, you know, what I see, you know, they're only looking for owner ops that can run on their own money. And that is a dying breed of older guys, and they're not running as efficiently. They're not able to do as much work as they've been able to do. It's a very specific requirement, I guess, is my point. And I think that filling that requirement is very difficult. And so, you know, I applaud guys like you who are thinking ahead and saying, okay, well, how do we adapt to these changes and start using other types of equipment, you know, and Talk a little bit about maybe the variety of equipment that you've utilized with some success, if you don't mind.
You know, I think the biggest piece for our success has been the network. And I call the guys the local heroes, right? Those are the guys actually doing the work out there. And I work with a lot of independents, so most of my network are independent movers, and those are the guys that have their own moving company in a city and have been doing it for 30 years, but they're not tied to anybody. And that's been the majority of my network. And those guys take a lot of pride in doing the work and doing it the right way as well. And I think that's been the biggest catapult for us to get us to the next level has been a network. And it took a lot of years to build that network. And you remember from your days at Forward Relocation, I'm sure you tried to do that as well.
Building that network was so hard and was probably our biggest failure point, because we were trying to take alternative capacity, right? So we were trying to use networks from, you know, I don't want to like blow people's spots up, but we were trying to use these like labor only networks that a lot of like U-Haul would rely on or pods would rely on. And then we're trying to get them to do corporate moves, and they didn't have the equipment, whether it be dollies or walkboards. They didn't have the pads. They sure didn't have paper pads. You know, they didn't understand international packing wrapping. They didn't understand how to load it, tier it, tie it off. You know, they're just like showing up, getting their $100, putting stuff in a container for Joe homeowner and leaving. You know, I mean, they weren't really movers, you know, is what I was finding for the most part. And so, you know, we had a lot of failure points, you know, in my previous lifetime because of that. And
we tried it too, Ben. I could have saved you probably 10 years. So 20 years ago, we tried the same thing and used the same labor networks, and they didn't work. And it was claims after claims. It was bad. And once we figured out it was the network and how to train these guys to do the job, that made all the difference in the world and helped us get to the next level.
Well, and I think what's interesting about like saying a walkboard getting into this industry, because there's a lot of folks, and actually I have a question to this point. There's a lot of companies that provide labor to load rental trucks, containers, trailers, whatever. But I think the interesting thing about Walkboard, and the reason why I wanted you to come on, is because you're catering to the existing, you're using a lot of existing labor, because those are the folks that initially came on as helpers to the drivers, the professional van operators that you also had in your system. So you're using existing guys in some cases, and I'm sure it's grown and changed and evolved, right? But you have some of that capacity in there and access to some of that capacity. And going back to my previous point, you also have access to those coveted personal, you know, professional van operators, those owner operators that are pulling for a lot of these van lines already, which is why I think it's kind of like you kind of got the customers, you got the van operators, and you got the labor, you got all the pieces, you know, let's see how you put them together. So I just think that's really interesting that you're tapping, yes, you're tapping into some different markets, I guess. Anyway, it's interesting to me.
You're right, we are. And that's kind of been the footprint and the path we're going, and we think it's the right path with what's going on.
So I got a couple of comments here. Craig Olland, hey Craig, containerization is what is needed for this industry. True that. I got a question here for you. Mark Oakshot, hey Rob, let me put you on the spot.
Oh no. We'll see.
Who do you see as your competitors?
That's a good question. I'm going to disappoint Mark by saying I don't see anybody competing against us right now, because I don't think everyone's doing that full DIY to full service program at this point.
All right, well, I'll go.
You can go ahead and say it.
I'll go. You know, when I look at the Walkboard site, and I think it's pretty slick the way you guys put it together, to me, it reminds me of a hire a helper mixed with a Old Dominion. That's what it looks like to me. Or the old, or kind of how the old ABF Move Builder site was. Although yours is a little more straightforward, I think.
You know, again, I think the biggest piece when comparing the labor networks, for one, is these are all actual background check. And they're not, it's not like where we used to send a form out and say, hey, Ben, just to test that all you guys are background check. Walkboard actually background checks every single person on their own, which is the big differentiator when I'm talking about labor, because I want to sleep at night, Ben, and I don't want to just put someone in someone's home that I wouldn't put in my own home. So comparing that is not even close. And then our network is also joining the Hire Helper network, not the Hire, the Walkboard network. So there's going to be more van line operators doing labor and helping the Walkboard side. So,
yeah, so what you're talking about is the standard that, you know, all the helpers in the industry across van lines have, where they're given what's called like CID numbers, or, you know, Unit Group has numbers, they call them one thing, North American has them, they call them another thing, but they're basically like hire right numbers that say, yeah, I've been background checked, you know, et cetera. So,
again, Ben, again, going back to the question, I really don't know who we're competing with. I mean, we're just trying to start the account and give them what they're looking for. And again, unless you know something or Mark does, I'm not sure who else is out there creating that a la carte menu that we're trying to give the accounts.
Well, I'll tell you, Shift has been doing something where they're offering it, but they're not putting on their site where you can go on and like kind of your workflow. I think is very straightforward and very intuitive and easy to use. It'll be interesting to see what your conversion metrics are with that, because as you might have recalled at Pods, when we were there, you know, when we would turn on the long distance moving aspect of it to book it online, because I used to run the call center for long distance, right? And so it would seem like once a year, once every 2 years, we'd have this philosophical debate. Should we just turn the website on for long distance quotes and just save all this money on headcount and everything like that? And we turned it on and we would book less than 1% of the long distance opportunities that hit our site. And we found that talking to a sales rep, they would convert at, you know, 15 to 20%, right? And even though only 20% would actually hit our site and then call, of the 20% that called, we booked 20% of that. So we'd be at like a net, what is that? 20% of 20% is 4% total. 4% total is still 4x, 5x, 6x more than you would have booked just having it on the website. So something to consider, you know, from that standpoint.
Well, again, Ben, I think it's, you know, I don't want to say maybe you guys didn't do it right back in the day, but
I know we didn't do it right.
Since you were in charge of the call center, but no, I think I tried to do the lump sum as well, and I only quoted on full service in my past, and I probably booked 1%. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have the other tools. I didn't have the rest of the technology from the beginning to end. Now I can do it, and I think we'll be a higher, probably 15 or 20%. Is kind of what I'm thinking we could do.
We got a comment here from Martin Mayotte.
I remember him.
Yeah. He said, Rob Vespa, wow, the godfather of small shipments.
Thanks, man.
Don't we miss Martin? Let's see. Evelyn Dye, how are you comparing yourself to Shift? That's her question.
You know, I think it's two different companies. I'm doing things totally different on the full service side. Again, our focus on the full service side is national account business. We've got a whole different standard operating procedure on how we take care of the customer. So you can't compare both companies from Shift to Walkboard. And I think the labor side's totally different also. And again, I can't talk to Shift and Crater, but I don't know their network. I don't know what their labor looks like. So I can just talk about what ours looks like.
Yeah, I don't know what their casual labor looks like. I mean, you know, full disclosure, we've done moves for Shift over here at University, full service moves. We've never just like loaded a container or anything like that. So, you know, we're not the kind of people to do that. But so I don't know where their casual, you know, labor comes from. I think, you know, it's funny because I think a lot of people compare technology, but there's so much more to it, like business processes and things like that behind the scenes. Like to your point about like, well, let's say we had exactly the same product offering, but I'm using a whole different labor pool and a whole different set of equipment and a whole different, like it's a whole different thing. It may, like the web page, anybody can copy a web page. You can just go in the source code and recreate a web page. But it's your business processes, your networks, your relationships, you know, they're different and proprietary. And I think it's important to remember that.
I think it's the end result also, Ben. You know, it's your claims ratio, it's your customer satisfaction. I think all that comes into play as well. It's really a process.
Paula Kupka points out the new generation also has different buying habits. Do you find that that what you're trying to build here caters more towards a newer type of customer, a younger customer?
Absolutely. Yeah, because again, we've been doing the smallest shipments. I have been for the last 10 years, as you know, 5,000 pounds and under. And I think, somebody that has 5 pieces, 7 pieces is not going to pay a 3,500 pound minimum. So we've catered up a pricing based on that customer or the millennials.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have 5 pieces, I can move those 5 pieces and give them a single factor rate for that. That's fair.
Now, I know Walkboard has an app for driver labor. Do you also offer the move management options on the app?
We do.
Cool. Very cool. Martin says, I joined late, but did you guys talk about compliance? Would your clients need authority to broker out labor? Thank you, Godfather. Would your clients need authority to broker out labor? Well, let me answer that. Well, if your clients are RMCs, they have household goods broker authority, and labor only does not fall within household goods requirements. It falls under the limited service exclusion. At least it did with pods. So you wouldn't need any particular authority for that.
No.
But that one made me think. I had to put my little legal hat on there for a second.
Well, you trained one back in the day, so.
Yeah. Well, the student becomes the master one day.
Yeah, of course. After 2 years in the industry.
Mark Oakshot, got to go back to work. Keep pushing, Rob. Nice to see you again. Thanks, Ben. So those are some interesting things. I still think there's, it's interesting to see, offering the move management services. I think the thing that's really cool that I like about what you're doing is you're offering. It seemed like 4 lines of service. So you have the traditional van line service, but that's not your focal point. You have the container service like via lift van, correct? Right. You have do you do the portable moving storage containers, like the pods like containers?
I do. So, and again, I didn't want to get into it on this call, Ben, but we do have a partnership with a company that's built containers for us.
Okay.
And they're actually the same size as the lift fan.
Oh.
So actually they're not. They're about a couple inches taller, so it will fit a king mattress and fit a oversized sofa. So some of the problems we've had operationally with the sofa carton or mattress carton now will fit into this lift fan size container.
So you're getting into the proprietary container business, the asset business.
Again, we want to do it for the DIY. I'm using it for national accounts. And I'd tell you what, some of the stuff that these containers have, it's got GPS tracking. Customer can lock it with their phone. I mean, there's a lot of cool things coming out that will definitely change the industry in the next 3 months.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to get into it, but
all right. I won't ask any further questions. I've got some suspicions. And then you also have the pup trailer, the LTL trailer, the 28-footer as well, it looks like.
Well, yeah, they use that as well. And I'm using a lot of rail as well, too. We're using rail as another alternative.
The rail, though, is via the trailer on flat car, like via the LTL or via the LTL trailers. See, what I love about the LTL trailer model is, and it's so funny because people probably hate me saying stuff like this, but what I love about the LTL trailer model is it's a per foot thing. Right. And so and I think the minimum is 4 feet, 4 linear feet. So if you want 4 feet of space, which, I think we were using maybe that's 1,500, 1,600 pounds or whatever. That's great. You can do that. And I think it goes 8 or 9 feet high or something like that.
Yeah, it's not.
So, I mean, that's kind of a cool option there. So I feel like when you offer that many different, 4 different modes, you're bound to have something they want. But I still think you're going to run into a problem because you have to curate that for the customer, because it's almost like brain overload. You know what I mean?
I think it's easy, Ben. You got to keep it simple, and we have, and we'll keep it 4 or 5 different steps, like menus that they can pick from. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the overall pricing from somebody doing it themselves, renting a truck, and moving it themselves, your cost is going to be pretty comparable to the services that we're offering. So why do that when you can just let us take care of it, move manager for you, and you just drive to your new home and your new job?
Yeah, makes sense.
So
Makes sense. Do we have any other questions from the audience here? We got 53 people logged in live right now. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. If you do, please leave them. We got time for probably one more if you got it. Otherwise, Rob's got to get back to work. He's always telling me I got to make some money and go sell something. So
that's right, buddy. You know it. Except for Martin. Martin can't ask any questions.
Martin can't ask anymore. He's already hit his limit. Guys, if you're watching, please give a like or hit the applause button or the likes button. Appreciate that. Always makes me feel really, really warm inside when the little blue thumb flutters up from the bottom. I love that stuff. Rob, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. This was great. Thanks for giving us a kind of a peek and some insights into Walkboard. When am I going to see you next?
Probably, I don't know, probably answer. But I love it, Ben. You're doing a great job, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
No, you're doing good.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
All right, guys.
Bye.